Building an art career online can be incredibly difficult, but is not impossible, and it only gets easier with the right know how and guidance. Now, I've personally grown my own art account to over 1 million followers on Instagram and made multiple streams of income along the way. And now I'm putting out videos for you guys on YouTube teaching you all everything I know. And in today's lesson, I'm going to give you guys a 6-step guide on how to build your art careers from scratch. Whether you're a beginner artist or an expert, I'm sure this is going to be helpful for you. All right, so step number 1 is to get good at something. And I don't mean just drawing, okay? If you're not good at drawing, but you love storytelling and maybe you have a good sense of humor, you can make comics, right? Or even if you have like a dark sense of humor, go for it, right? But get good enough to a point where people will stop scrolling and pay a moment's worth of attention to your post, right? You want to get good enough that's better than just the average. So you need to spend a few months or even a year on just honing those skills. Now, even if it's not comic making, if it's not illustrations, if you're good at video editing and storytelling through your art and capturing different moments, capturing parts of your life, and it's important that it's something that you like, because this is something that you have to do without getting bored, but enjoy it. All right. Now, what I got decently good at was just making illustrations which had a character and a background. Now, I was not the best at backgrounds and I was not the best at characters, but I was decent enough at putting together and putting some sort of a story in a frame. And it looked a bit moody and atmospheric, and people related with it, people liked it. And that started slowly building up my engagement, right? Because I tried a lot of other things in the past that didn't work, and this is something that really stuck. So I got good enough at just illustration. Now, the second thing that you want to do is that you need to gain attention, right? You need to become a magnet for eyeballs on social media. Okay, so you need to learn how to start creating posts and putting up content that is a bit more captivating and engaging. You want those likes, you want those shares, you want those comments, all of that, because now you want it to snowball and keep growing faster and faster, right? You want attention. Attention over here is going to be your best friend. Now, you've already done the hard part, which is getting good at the art form. Now you have to start looking into how other creators shoot their content, edit it, what kind of hooks do they use, what kind of reels do they make, how do they use music, and slowly start improving that along the way. Once you find out what sticks, repeat that to the max you can until it stops working, and then slowly adapt and evolve into something else. I tried a lot of things with just illustrations that did not work for me. One thing was just putting out my illustrations as it was, as just single posts, and that did okay. It didn't really grow my following or make me lose followers. Then I started putting them up as time-lapse videos as well. You know, apps like Procreate give you a default time-lapse. That also did okay. But what really stuck for me was recording my process in the form of a reel and showing how easy I can make it seem to create artworks like these. So a lot of followers and new people were like, oh, if he can do it, I can do that. It looks so easy, it looks so captivating, it's engaging. And that's what really blew my accounts up. Moving on, step number 3 is to turn that attention into money. Now, one important thing is don't just copy other artists because they've done something. Just because the people you are looking up to have done Prince, Patreon, Gumroad does not mean that that's going to work for you, right? For example, if you're a comic artist, there may be something else that they are looking for. For example, you could do custom commissions where you insert that person into your comic by making a caricature of them, and you can start increasing your prices as your demand increases, right? Start gaining attention and then slowly turning that into money. And how do you do that is by listening to what your customers want. Read the DMs, what they're asking for. Are they asking for commissions? Are they asking for prints? Are they asking for longer tutorials? All of that, and then give them exactly what they want and make sure you do the best of your ability to that. Now, in my case, since I'm putting out tutorials of just making artworks, I put out the longer forms on like a Patreon and brushes on Gumroad, and just very simple, very straightforward. And that is my system. All right, moving on. Now, once you find something that works, we move on to step 4, which is to improve your salesman skills. And I don't mean actively being a salesperson. I mean optimizing your page and putting out enough products that when people come to your page, they want to buy stuff and it's as easy as possible for them to do so. So do not send people on a long journey where they have to make 10 or 20 clicks to just buy something, because they don't have that much attention span. Remember, if people are scrolling on a platform like Instagram, right, they are moving at like 100 kilometers per hour, and then they want your brushes or some tutorial, and now they have to make 3 or 4 clicks. That is really hard. So systemize and optimize the things for you to work in your favor so that you can start making money while you sleep. Okay, you don't actively have to sell something for them as well, right? Even if it is commissions, can you start optimizing in a way where you have a team that's working for you or someone else that's doing it for you if it's a large scale, and then all you have to do is just oversee and art direct it? Or in my case, can I make it as easy as possible for them? If you want my brushes, it can be done in one click, where it's there in my link tree. They click on it, they can see the option for brushes, but also see other things that they can buy along the way. So you want to start selling as much as possible, but remember this: you do not want to just become a salesperson. You need to be good at it, which means that it's happening every single day, but not so in your audience's face. So how do you do this? Is that you have to just keep on focusing on giving as much value as possible for your audience without asking for anything in return. Like what I do is I keep putting out my reels, which are my tutorials on like Instagram and YouTube Shorts, and the audience themselves says like, okay, I want this, and they can see in my caption that says link in my bio. So they go directly there. I'm not telling them buy. They go there and they buy stuff, and I make a lot of income while I'm sleeping just because of that. So step 4 again is just to optimize the process and increase your products. Now step 5 is to invest back and scale it to the max. Now take whatever time you have that's excess and whatever income you have that's excess, and invest it back into building something that is a bit more uniquely yours. Okay? For example, again, if you are a comic maker, could it be comic making academy, a convention, a workshop, an online course, something that is uniquely yours, that is a bit larger scale than just one-off easy digital downloadable products. Okay, it needs a bit of time and effort. Why? Because other things are easily copied, and you won't be able to scale so much if you're selling products for just $5 and $10. Whereas if you build something that's of extremely high value, you could start selling it for 100, 200, 300 and upwards, right? So that is another thing you want to start looking at. So in my case, I tried 2 completely different things. One was setting up an animation studio with my friends called Studio Sideline, which was my plan in the long run actually at the time, which was to start this animation studio, and that is going to be my main thing, my main focus, and we are going to be this pioneering animation studio out of India, all of that. And the thing that actually worked out for me a lot more financially was setting up an education platform and an online community, right? So I created, over the span of 2 years, I created 3 courses that I put up on this platform called artwithderek.com. I got a team that I partnered with to help me out with everything. And also like a Discord community was formed. Again, those courses each are like over 30 to 40 hours long of content, which I would then sell at a much higher price. And the coolest thing about that was that it was a lot more beneficial for my community because they wanted something that was a bit more expanded than just a $5 tutorial off of Gumroad. And for me, it was more beneficial because I was then making a larger income with each and every sale. Okay, now let's move on to the last point, which is point number 6, which is to build your personal brand.
Now, one of the best ways to actually build your personal brand is to talk about everything from steps 1 to 5. All your failures, your successes, all your experiences, everything, because that is a huge part of who you are. And make sure to put your face or your name on the forefront.
This is super important because when you have a personal brand, it exceeds and overexcels whatever you could do as just an artist. Because now you yourself are more valuable than just the art you make. For example, you'll get called to a lot of events to speak at, you'll be called to hold masterclasses, you'll be invited by brands for different things. And these are all sorts of random things that I've done as well. Like this is the phase where I'm right now and where I'm trying to build my personal brand and putting myself out there more. And you are going to be paid for your value, for your presence and for your time, not just the art you do. Right? That is a lot more valuable, where you can now be consultants for businesses. You can host your own masterclass events, your own conventions. It's just that your name right now is easily recognizable and you have the power of distribution. So when it comes to your channels, if you have a large following and a large social base, brands are going to come to you for your distribution and your influence. What you do with that is up to you. But once you reach that point, the opportunities that are going to come knocking at your door are incredible. So just stick with it. And that's something that's happened to me in my life. I'm currently in that personal branding phase of mine right now. So I'm working my best at that. And anyway, I hope that this video was helpful for you. I know it's a short video, but I just wanted to put down those 6 steps just in case you guys are looking for some guidance on what to do exactly and what is expected of you. Of course, if you want more detailed videos, let me know down in the comments below and I'll get those out. Like I said, my goal right now is on YouTube to put out as much value for you guys as possible for free. And yeah, I'm doing my best. So I'll see you guys in the next videos.